visibility and marketing can bring up those feelings and those blocks like into you, and you can feel vulnerable because that's the way it is. That's the way our subconscious mind works when it's trying to protect ourselves, when it's trying to protect you of doing something in the eyes of your subconscious mind. Is stupid. Being on social media is not stupid, but it can trigger some blocks and some limiting beliefs in you. Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Life and Business, a podcast where we talk about money, life, family, kids, life, and business, and how all these ingredients mix together in a perfect recipe in a day to day basis. My name is Rosa, your host, and also I am your action coach. I help creatives and entrepreneurs to believe in themselves, their talent, and art so they can grow their bank accounts. Today, we are going to talk about the power of content creation. I know sometimes you have so many things to do, and also you need to worry about marketing, about content creation. And it can be so overwhelming, and it can not be the best task to do. But today, I bring you some numbers where you can see why it's so important to share content on social media. And today, I bring you some numbers so you can see for yourself why it's important to share content on social media. If you are promoting something, if you have something to say, if you want to impact others people's lives, social media, it might be the way. I bring you 6 social media platforms where you can see the different numbers. And the first one I'm going to share with you is Twitter. This is 199 million users. The next one is Facebook with 800 million users. The next one I share with you is Instagram with 1,270 million users. That's insane. And then I bring you LinkedIn with 774 million users. TikTok, that it's kind of new. It's 655.9 million users. It's growing fast. The last one, I bring you Patreon, that it's a small platform. It's only 230,000, but this is what is interesting about this platform is that you have people who actually support your art or whatever you do. So it's a channel, you have like a channel, and then they actually give you money. So this is mecenas, I think it's called in English. I am not sure about the word, but it's people who sponsor your art so you can keep doing what you're doing. Patreon says that 95% of the profiles, they have at least they have one sponsor in their profile. So it's a good option. Actually, the one that blew my mind, it was Instagram. I didn't expect that was the biggest platform in the world. I am a Facebook chick. I do have Instagram and I have TikTok. If you haven't seen my TikTok blog, go and see there. It's like something that you won't see in all my other platforms. It's kind of funny. So Instagram, it's just insane. Everyone is there. So if you haven't taken into account, promote yourself on Instagram, I think that's a place. There's a lot of things that become a part of promoting yourself on social media. And also it's not only about the users that it has the platform, but also it has to do with the algorithm, how the algorithm is working, how is it behaving. And sometimes beating the algorithm is the most difficult, but anyway, you can have more eyes in these platforms than any other place. And for creatives and entrepreneurs who are ready to impact the world, this is a place to start because it's free. You can create the content that you want. And depending what kind of content you like, that's the content, that's the platform that you should use. So, for example, if you like video, then you can go to Reels in Instagram or you can go to TikTok. So, if you are more of writing, then you can go to Facebook. Also, Instagram, you can write long posts. And if you are a photographer, obviously, Instagram is a good place to be. So, depending on your skills and depending how you feel, and also knowing the platform, if it's easy for you to manage the platform and if you feel okay in the platform, then you should use that more. And what I always say to my clients and people who are working with me is, if you want to be more, if you want to show up on social media but you haven't done it before, then you need to start little by little, and don't start in all the platforms. Start with one. Start the one that you like the most. Start sharing there and feel comfortable about it, because sometimes the blocks that we have inside, it's we are afraid of sharing too much, or we have all these blocks around people will judge us, people will get bored of us, people will block us, people won't talk to us because we have all this content and we are boring them. A lot of those blocks are related to something deeper than social media. It's something deeper than just showing up on Twitter or social media. Those are blocks that come from our childhood, something that someone told you, or things that you feel bad about it because someone told you that you weren't good enough. So, visibility and marketing can bring up those feelings and those blocks like into you, and you can feel vulnerable because that's the way it is. That's the way our subconscious mind works when it's trying to protect ourselves, when it's trying to protect you of doing something in the eyes of your subconscious mind is stupid. Being on social media is not stupid, but it can trigger some blocks and some limiting beliefs in you, and you need to work on them. And if you don't work on them, then you will have these feelings every time that you posting on social media. And also, it's practice. I've been talking a lot about practice lately, but it's just, instead of pushing ourselves so hard, instead of being, telling ourselves that we're doing it wrong, that we're not doing it right, that we should do something else, it's like, I'm just practicing. I'm just, and just saying that word, it will take all that heaviness that we're putting into something that we need to do. So it's fine. If you practice, it's fine if something goes wrong because you're only practicing. It's not, maybe it won't be perfect, and it's fine. And this is the same with social media. That's the way you need to move around. You need to be consistent, but in a consistent that is good for you. It's not that, oh, you need to be consistent and be there 5 days a week, 7 days a week, and post, and feel uncomfortable about it. No, because then at some point you will blow up and you won't feel comfortable anymore. And then you will, it's like a rubber band. And at some point it will go back to its original shape. So it's the same. You need to work in those blocks and that in those limiting beliefs, whatever is happening around that visibility, but start small. Start with one profile, one post a week, two posts a week. I always recommend my clients to start with 2 or 3 posts a week, and they can start with their favorite social media, and then they can start adding one more, and then they can add another one. So maybe you start with one, posting every 2 or 3 times a week, and then you add another one, and then you repurpose this content that you already created for the other platform. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to create new content all the time. You don't need to be the creative of the creatives because you are doing something else, and this is like an add-on to your work or to what you're doing. So you don't need to rediscover the wheel. You just need to repurpose the content that you have already shared in other platforms. So that becomes easier. So, for example, a few days ago, I had an offer and I created one email. And from that email, I had 10 pieces of content for the next 3 or 4 days. And I only adjusted. I adjusted the content to each one of the platforms, but it was the same content with different images, and I use Canva, and then I schedule those posts into social media. So yes, repurposing, that's the key of social media. And if you are preparing yourself, you're not. Just people don't pay attention to those things. If they ask you, that's a good sign because they are reading you then. So if you want to start creating content in your social media, you need to start doing it now. And I want to close this episode with this story that story actually inspired me to do this episode. It's about a guy that he said in an interview that he had a YouTube channel and he had only 9 followers. He said it was only 9 followers that were looking at my content, but one of those followers was Oprah Winfrey. And she liked what she saw and she hired me. She looked for me and she hired me. And now I'm working with her. Don't underestimate the power of content creation because you don't know who is actually taking a look at your content. And that's true. So don't wait for massive interaction because most of the times people don't comment, don't put a like, but who knows? Maybe they will come and they will tell you, I saw your content on social media and I want to work with you. And I am closing this episode with this story so you feel inspired and motivated so you can start posting also on social media. And if you feel inspired, if you feel you can make the next step, please share with me. I will be happy to hear from you. And if you have someone else that can be benefited with this episode, share it. And don't forget to write a review or just post 5 stars. Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye.